Hello guys, what is up? I am Mulganis from VTCG, your main boy for some Digimon content, and this is a video that we have to discuss. We have to talk about this because Bandai dropped the ban list and restricted list for the upcoming, um, we'll say year. Of course, if any card there are troublesome, they'll probably do an emergency one, but as of right now, this is what's going to be in place, and it's going to start on August 31st of this year, so in a few days, the end of the month. And I've checked this before, and they are pretty reasonable bans, um, from the most part. And let's just go and discuss each of them together and some more of what can be done to go around this. So let's see first the Uko, but the promo Uko, not the searcher Uko that everyone was talking about. Um, I guess it's reasonable. Um, the searcher Uko gives you pieces. This one gives you one memory. Both of them match. So, and the searcher Uko costs one, whilst this costs zero. So if you have this one with the Louis, you could just cycle Ukos more left and right on the few couple of turns of the game and not be behind memory. Expected, we were expecting the Yukos to be hit. We weren't sure how, but I guess Bandai just thought that this one sped up the game more than the other one, because it's true, if you put a Searcher Uko, if you evolve it on the breeding, you're automatically passing turn. So it's one turn that you're pretty much just evolving in the breeding area, but then you pretty much gain it back on your next turn um, when you raise it, you search, you hatch an egg. But this is pretty reasonable because of what's coming after, which is Louis. They hit both of them. So this Zuko is restricted one on Dex. The other one is fine. They didn't touch that one. But they restricted both of them. And it's actually not a bad pair of restrictions, because if you had an Uko and Louis, you could digivolve for free. You put a Louis, you raise a Yuko, gain a memory, Atch, gain another memory because you raised from Louis. And essentially you did a 3 play cost for 1. And it just sped up the all of the game that and whatever you try to set up. Um, this was mainly due to a single deck, and we will see it as well after on the cards. But it's a match. It's they restrict them because they're a match. If one played, most likely the other played. We see it in NuMe. We see it in Red Hybrid, the new one. We see it in Blue Hybrid as well, with the red engine. So it made sense. It made sense. The other one, and this was a this was a surprise. I never thought that they would hit Hammer Spark, because it can hit the game. It can. If it's in security, it gives you 2 memory, just like Ice Wall. So it doesn't really. It doesn't. It impacts the game at the same time in security, but when you play it, it gives you one plus memory. The reasoning is that because this card has been included in blue decks, and it's true, you can include in blue decks for a long time, but right now with blue hybrid being as faceted as it is, maybe they saw that it's better to just restrict the card that's giving memory for free instead of just hitting Ancient Garuru, because it's a newish card, new card for BT17 in the West. In Japan, they've had it for a few months now, and they maybe thought it was easier to just hit the card that gave free memory instead of just its, for example, Ichigururu, the Lobo that digivolves, or the promo Lobo, for example, uh, the Kojis. Maybe they thought that this was easier to hit without major backlash. This was actually a surprise. This was a surprise. Not gonna lie, it doesn't impact the blue decks as much, because blue decks we have, for example, Ancient Garuru, we have Imperial. Imperial can doesn't run this if it doesn't need to. Honestly, it really doesn't need to run Emmer Spark. It can, but it doesn't need to. And for the Japanese, you have Exablau that doesn't really affect it. So it's gonna be fun how they're gonna go. Maybe what what can be done for the blue decks is play more blue memory boosts or trainings, um, to kind of like gain memory or reduce the digivolution costs further, um, to help with the quick build up. But still, it this was a surprise. Hammer Spark was definitely a surprise here. Next one, Awakening of the Golden Knight. A lot of YouTubers, that I currently see, they see this card that they thought it would be hit because it plays in both Magna and Yellow Vaccine, and pretty much you can go from 4 to 6 for a cost of 3, pretty much, and it really speeds up the game of Magnus. It impacts the Magnus, the deck of Magnus itself. It does, not gonna lie, but it's still gonna be a playable deck. Can go around again, creating more memory, playing more blue mem, making sure that you have your tamers early to get more memory from your free types, your Davis, and you still have one. I think the main reason is that not just the Digivolution card, and that's what they did, but also the security effect that can bring you a Magna back and then add this card to your hand. It's it's one of the expected. A lot of people thought it would be different, but it's one of the expected. Here it is, the big daddy of them all. Now, NuMe X. This is crazy. It was thought it would be either this card or Monzaimon X antibody. It would be one of the two. Um, the thing is with NuMe, Louis, and Uko being restricted, the deck will be, I will say, if you don't have these pieces all together, it's going to be slower. It's going to be considerably slower. Um, it's not as big of a surprise, but it does take one thing that NuMe did. NuMe goes fast, goes wide, and this card gave it recursion. It hits the platinum Numemons, makes them come back. Doesn't matter which turn it is, and they give you memory because it's a non-play. So it doing this takes recursion off the deck pretty much. And purple is known for recursion. This was just, hey, let's put purple in the black deck to see how it goes, and it worked. They took recursion out of the deck. You can only do this once, so it is what it is. This one, this is a hit for yellow vaccine completely, and I'll discuss it later. This is a hit for yellow vaccine. They What made yellow vaccine is really manipulating security however you want. And this card, the TK from BT14, was the card that made it possible. You could put a vaccine back in, so anything that was armor and vaccine, which is your Rapidmons and your Gold Vidramon, went back in. Patamon came, Digivolved, gained memory, so +2 for Digivolution cost of 0. Um, if you had more, you could reach easily 5-6 memory just because of this play, and it made you manipulate. Then your Emissary of Hope would come and just easily wipe it. So you could have a turn 2 rapid, turn 2 magna, um, very easily without much effort, and then your opponent had to pick up the pace because your deck was just faster. So this was a hit for yellow vaccine. That's why it is. They didn't touch Emissary of Hope, really, because Emissary of Hope is dependent of security. They wanted to touch really the card that managed to manipulate security, and they they, they pretty much did it. Now you're reliant on luck, or at least preemptively controlling your security that you can still more or less do. Um, but I'll talk about that in a minute when we discuss the decks. And here's a surprise: PurlGabo became unrestricted. Um, is when attacking, it's not once per turn. Draw one, trash one. Um, I see no reason for it. Like band, I saw for it to be restricted. For example, um, with the with the Vmon, you could digivolve it, attack, unsuspend when you digivolve into Magna X, swing again, do the one digivolving the turns of Magna X, swing again, and that's effectively 3 draws just from attacking. So I see it. There's no point of it being still being restricted. But yeah, it was predictable, except for this one, except for Emmer Spark. Uh, Everything was pretty predictable. This combo here, they nerfed. They completely wanted to nerf NuMe because of the amount of the sheer number of decks that exist in store tournaments, regionals, in the Asian tournament. Just the sheer number of Uko decks, not Uko, sorry, the NuMe decks that exist is insurmountable, and this was a hit. And it's, for me personally, it's healthy. The more decks that get come out of the tier 2, tier 3, or the niche, the tribals that can come back because of it, it just promotes a healthy state, game state, in my own opinion. Um, I wish for Greymon X antibody, the dual color one, to be unrestricted as well, but it is what it is. We'll see what we can do and how the game will change, but it will change, not significantly because of how it was tested, but it will change a bit. So I actually deck tested what it would be like for the NuMe deck, for the yellow vaccine deck. Didn't have more time to play test, of course, because this just came out today, um, the 23rd of August. But here's the thing. I'm gonna start with NuMe. So what is NuMe known for? Going white, fast, and there's not a lot of interaction that you can do unless preemptively knowing that, okay, you need to clear the board, otherwise you're going to be overwhelmed. So I've tried this, and to be perfectly honest, it is still a NuMe deck. It is still goes wide fast. What could be done? As you can see, I only have the one of the promo Ukos. So only one here, only one Louis, and only one NuMe X antibody. So this is, in my own opinion, an idea of what to expect of the NuMe decks going forward. One or more Venus, one or more Shine Gray, one or more Death X. It will change from person to person, but I believe this is what you can expect. So one Yuko, one Louis, four of the Searcher Ukos, and more of the starter deck Agumons. Why? Because think about it. You put Yuko, you pass turn. You raise it on the next turn. Search it, hatch, put an Agumon, put the Louis down if you have it, and pretty much your third turn, if Agumon survives, and I know there's gonna be a lot of ifs, you essentially have it back again. You uh, if the opponent has a Digimon, you gain a memory. You search with Yuko, you gain a memory with the Louis because you raised a Digimon. So the combo, although it takes more pieces, it's still there for the NuMemon. But since we took a hit on the X antibody, we just need to make sure that when we do our plays, we need to make them go fast. So the Jeremons, again, trash one. You always at least want to see one Platinum NuMemon in the trash, because X antibody still exists. The other two, I would say, keep them. I don't think you need to run 4 anymore because you only have 1 here. So keep them so you can digivolve over it. Why would you do that? Because when digivolving, he plays the X antibody back. So you digivolve on top of a Monzaimon or Monzaimon X antibody or an Etemon. You digivolve on top of it, you gain 2 memory, so it costs 1. You swing, he dies. Go grab the NuMe X again, start your stack all over. And then you can still go wide, go fast. Monzaimon X antibody, the Pro form. You still play a lot of bodies. You have the Venus to kind of give yourself one turn. Shine Gray to control. I would say play more Satsukis and play more of the NuMes that play the Satsukis, so you can guarantee if the opponent has Digimon, you can gain memory. Play more of the on deletion NuMes so you can search. So all this deck is about now is searching for the pieces. So it was it when I play tested it. Yes, but it still does what it does. Goes wide, fast. Unless you have some way to control it, you're gonna get overwhelmed. Now, here's the bread and butter, the yellow vaccine. From my playtesting, as so far I only did a few games, didn't have time for more. But here's what I found out: you cannot control your security anymore, but you can, or you cannot manipulate your security, sorry, anymore, but you can control it. That's why I put more TKs so you can check your security. So, for example, you start the game, you have the Patamon and the TK. Perfect. You digivolve, put the TK down, and then you check your security to see what you have. If you don't have anything on security, you know next turn it's much better to digivolve in the back than bring the Patamon up front. Emissary of Hope is still here, so if you can keep control of your security, you can more or less play preemptively. It's not as fast. You're still gonna cost 4 or 3 for the gold Vidramons, but you can pretty much control it. So what changes, for example, did I make here? So as you can see, we only have one Awakening of the Golden Knight. We have 2 Magna X's because we still play level 5, so you can Digivolve normally, so it makes sense. All of our more level 4s, so 2 or even 3 gold Vidramons, if you will, if you want to take any of the back. I put here Magna Dramon just so you can DP reduce this if you need to clear something off the board fast. It's minus 9k. If you put it with the Angelmon, it's minus 6k. It's minus 15k at the end of the day. And for anything that is level 7, it's enough. What else? We put 2 Digimon Emperors. For mirror matches, they're great because they force the opponent to have their Patamon back. Otherwise, they won't even have a turn. If you have 2 down, if they raise it, it's minus 4 unless you gave them a ton of memory, because for whatever reason you were forced to. They bring you right back to your turn. And I put 2 TKs here with the TK and Kari. Why? Because what it says is that start of your main phase or on play, one of your yellow Digimon gains barrier. One of the great things, for example, of yellow vaccine, for example, with Gatomons, or if you played the Jogras Sylphimon with the barrier Gatomon, is that you could put Magna X on top, and you, besides being immune, you would gain barrier, which would be completely busted. You couldn't remove it as long as you had security. You couldn't be removed, or the opponent had security, couldn't be removed. So what do we do here? We change a little bit yellow vaccine to hold on what is ours. You can swing safely with Rapids. You can swing safely with Magnus if they have barrier. That's the gist of it. The main point here is not to lose our bodies right now, because it can be hard to come back from it. One thing that I saw, or that it came to me, is that while I was playing, sometimes I was missing level 3s. And maybe this is something that it's better to tweak. Maybe take out the level 5 and put more level 3s, because that can really hurt the deck as of right now. More Kudamons or whatever, what you feel more comfortable in doing so. The deck was it, yes, but you can control or your security in a way that you can plan your moves ahead if you know that you cannot raise a Patamon to Digivolve it. Well, Digivolve it in the back. If it's one of these, it won't be a problem. If it's one of these, you lose the Digivolving and the DP reduction, but it's better to lose that than to not being able to go into your main body, Rapid X, or even a Magna, and just not being able to do anything. They will automatically die. You can play around it. You can take out the Magna, Dramon, put another Death X, or use different tamers, whatever. Put more searching cards so that you can find your pieces. That's really up to you. But I ran with this, and I still saw, because we run a ton load of level 4s. I still saw level 4s in the in the security, and because this TK allowed me to check all security. Remember, you want to just check it, and you want to remove physical training, level 5, level 3. You want to remove these and keep the other ones, because you can still then use the Patamon, Digivolve into a Rapid from the security if he's there, and then even better if Rapid X is there, Emissary of Hope into Rapid X, all turn 2. It's still feasible. You can run 4 TKs if you wish, if you want to have a little bit more knowledge of your security, but I found 3 to be enough. Always saw one in the first couple turns, so it's really up to you. And that's pretty much it. Leave your thoughts in the comments to see what you thought of the ban list. If you agree, if you don't agree, what other cards you would put or not. What you found excessive. Emmer Spark, we will see how it will hit the meta. Now, I don't think it will affect it much. Gonna be honest, I don't think. Ancient Garu does what Ancient Garu does. It doesn't need the Emmer Spark to do what it does. It really doesn't. Of course, you're gonna pass turn if you put an Ancients down, but Gojis give you memory. Blue Mems preemptively put give you memory. You can still do all of those fun stuff. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.